Now at 9, KDOT announces a change in plans for the Crawford County Corridor project.
It's been over a month since a burst pipe destroyed nearly 1/3 of the offices here at the Jasper County Courthouse. I'm speaking with county officials to inform you about what you need to know as that renovation continues.
And Chautauqua, Kansas faces becoming a food desert as the town's only grocery store is closing.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM and News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. It was a warm day, but the temperatures are dropping fast. And we go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at weather.
Yeah, we blew the records out of the water today. The record high for today was 76 degrees. We hit 83, and that was at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Started at 47. 54 is our average high. But if you haven't been outside, which I have not, but I've looked at my computers, and it says it's getting cold out there. 47 in Joplin, 42 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures dropping rapidly. You see that little wind shift line in Benton County, so that colder air is filtering in. Look at Iola and Yates Center sitting at 33 degrees. We did get some thunderstorms that popped up earlier this evening. Most of the thunderstorms are gone, but we still have some light showers in our northern counties. In fact, look at this. It's mixing with some freezing rain and some light snow showers. So especially our northern counties, you are going to get a little bit of light freezing rain and light snow showers as we go through the rest of the overnight hours tonight. We're going to continue to tumble all night long, so we're going to break that down. Look at the rest of the week all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, plans for a new bypass on Highway 69 near Pittsburgh are headed back to the drawing board. KDOT today held a lunch at the Crestwood Country Club in Pittsburgh, and there they announced they were stopping progress on the Western Alignment Plan for the Crawford County Corridor in response to feedback. All options are back on the table, including that Western alignment. They also announced a new corridor study to reevaluate their options. That study will be broken into 2 phases. The first will collect traffic and safety data as well as public input. The second will develop plans to move forward.
And based off of that information, we'll come back to the drawing table and look at how we can meet those needs, how we can really figure out how to address the purpose of the project. So we are really doing what is best for the communities down here.
The new study is expected to take 12 to 18 months to complete. Well, today the city of Pittsburgh tees up a groundbreaking ceremony on a new mini golf facility. City officials, key stakeholders, donors, and the community came out to celebrate and share details about the project located at the Four Oaks Golf Course. Private donations and grant funding made the facility possible.
It fell into a little bit of disrepair due to some drainage issues, some things that needed major remediation, and it was better to rebuild than remodel. So we made the decision to pursue funding. Obviously that's come through, and then starting next week in earnest, the golf course builders will be down and start going with the features and holes.
The new mini golf facility is expected to open by summer of 2024. It should be fun. 1 month after a pipe burst in the Jasper County Courthouse in Joplin, county officials are now looking to start rebuilding and replacing all that was destroyed by the water damage. Anthony Saviello has more.
Once a newly refurbished office is now only a shell of one.
I got this office back a week ago today. And was able to come in and say, oh, now what are we going to start making plans and move forward. And that's what we're doing.
Jasper County Collector Steve McIntosh's office is one that was destroyed by a burst pipe back in January.
The goal is, and what I'm tasked with doing, is putting it right back the way it was before. Sure. And that's really what I want to do. I liked what we had. Yeah. We want to go right back to where we were.
As you can see here, traffic cones, caution tape, and large dumpsters line the courthouse building as the cleanup process continues, a process which was made more difficult when unexpected discoveries were made.
I was actually barricaded out of this office as they abated the lead-based paint on the ceiling for 3 weeks.
There's still a lot of work to be done, and as of now, the collector's office in Carthage will remain closed until further notice.
It's going to have to be shut down, and we're looking at probably a minimum of 3 months to get it put back together again.
However, McIntosh wants the public to know that this is not the end of the world.
Please bear with us, be patient. My Joplin office in the Joplin Courts building is fully functional. It's open. You can go online and do things. You just simply cannot come into Carthage and pay in person or get anything in person out of this office.
Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, McIntosh says the repairs and rebuild cost will be paid for through insurance proceeds. Well, a pickup crashed into the Denny's in Neosho this morning, leaving the business temporarily closed. It happened just before 7 a.m. after officials say the driver of the pickup accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake. Oops. The truck drove into the waiting area of the restaurant. Officials say no one was injured in the crash. Denny's is closed for now as they wait for a private contractor to complete temporary repairs to bring the building back up to city code. Well, today is a National Retro Day, but a store in the Galena, Kansas part of Route 66 celebrates that day every day. Gearhead Curios has a variety of vintage items, many of which were gifted to the store owner. KOAM's Fernanda Silva shows us how visitors can travel back in time.
This is the sound customers are coming in to explore this store on Route 66 and hear stories.
English, and I translated Italian.
Aaron Perry is the owner of Gearhead Curious. He's also the storyteller that welcomes thousands of visitors every month from all over the globe. People who are traveling on America's Main Street and also in time.
Here you have a lot of items that they look old school. How do you get them?
You're pointing at my fireplace, which is a 1933 Chevy that my dad and I cut out of the woods, and I put the fireplace insert in, and I built the infinity mirror. So it's kind of retro cool, but with a twist to it.
And even the restroom here is an attraction itself. This is how you flush it. And to wash your hands, you use a gas pump nozzle.
His creativity goes a long way.
I tell people that I get to offer an escape from reality to the people that are traveling back to nostalgic America.
But sometimes he also gets help.
My ceiling is covered with license plates that travelers have gifted me. And one guy stuck $1 on the wall and told me, this is how you start something. And now I have money from all over the world.
But clients also come from short distances. Galena resident Gabrielle Richards and her partner were enjoying the sunny, warm day and decided to stop by.
It's just amazing because, they're so excited and we're like, oh, this is just Galena, like we get so used to everything and they are so excited and it's amazing.
I'm here every day. When that traveler comes through, they're on a one-day adventure or maybe a 1 month or something like that. They get to experience that and let their mind wander and time travel, and I get to offer that every day. It is so cool.
A time travel, he says, that allows him to live his dreams every day. In Galena, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Gearhead Curios in Galena is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Well, coming up, the warmer temperatures causing problems.
Sniffle season is getting underway. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at why springtime allergies are starting earlier and lasting longer. That's all straight ahead.
Well, a new study shows bariatric surgery leads to better blood sugar control in people with type 2 diabetes than non-surgical management with medication. Bariatric surgery, also called weight loss surgery, involves altering the digestive tract, usually by reducing the size of the stomach. The study found 51% of surgically treated participants had full remission of type 2 diabetes a year later. Well, the first day of spring is still several weeks away. It's not stopping above average temperatures from creeping up. A growing number of health and climate experts are warning this warming trend is contributing to an earlier and more intense allergy season. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez takes a closer look at how you and your family can help prevent serious symptoms.
T-shirts aren't usually the clothing of choice for February.
This is about the warmest February I remember.
But with large swaths of the country experiencing abnormally warm winter weather, many people, especially across the central U.S., are taking advantage of these early spring-like conditions.
If you don't have the snow on the ground, if the water, the lakes, the streams aren't frozen, and the ground is pretty dry because we haven't had a whole lot of precipitation, it's a lot easier to warm up the temperatures.
And so are the plants.
Deep freezes are help to keep the plants kind of without pollinating. As the weather warms up, we start to see those plants flower earlier, and the longer they have a flowering season, the more pollen they're releasing in the air, which can cause a lot of allergy symptoms.
Many health and climate experts say warmer falls and winters are promoting earlier and worse allergies.
So different tree pollens, grass pollens, weed pollens are getting into our environment and lasting longer. There's also some evidence with the amount of pollen increasing, it's also becoming more allergenic, so it's making those allergies worse.
To help keep symptoms from spiraling, doctors recommend taking medications 2 to 4 weeks before allergy season hits full swing.
If that pollen is heavy enough to cover our car, it is certainly enough to irritate the eyes, the nose, the throat, even if you're not making an allergy response to it.
And because our immune systems can change as we age, medical experts also advise getting tested to see if you've developed any new allergies. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Well, scientists around the globe agree 2023 was the hottest year on record, and now a new study finds a strong association with hot temperatures and preterm birth. Australian scientists looked at more than 1 million births over 20 years. Women exposed to extreme heat in the third trimester were more likely to give birth early. Exposure during the first 2 trimesters did not carry the same risk. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. Missouri Southern softball finally gets a chance to play at home. We'll have highlights of their game against Delta State later in sports.
Well, of course, crazy weather day for us today. We set record highs, shot well into the 80s, and then a very powerful cold front has been rolling through over the past several hours. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. You can see the winds are whipping outside, the flag's blowing, and it is turning significantly colder across the region. We had some thunderstorms that kind of developed along the I-44 corridor, pushed east. So we had a lot of thunder and a lot of lightning in those couple storms that we did have. Besides that, it's been pretty calm. Now we're dealing with some light showers in the northern counties, but check this out. It's mixing with some freezing rain in the purple and then some light snow showers once you work back toward Yates Center, Chanute, Iola. And we are going to see these kind of shifting through, especially if you live north of Chanute, Erie, Girard, Lamar, Stockton tonight. You are going to get some light snow showers and some light freezing drizzle, so be careful on the roadways, but I think any impacts are going to be fairly minor. We have the snow continuing up toward Kansas City all the way up into parts of Iowa. A lot of severe weather has been ongoing around Chicagoland, and then we'll start to pick up a little bit in western parts of Kentucky. Look at these temps dropping fast. 67 Bella Vista, 57 just 20 minutes north of Neosho, 47 just 20 minutes north in Joplin, and down to 38 in Fort Scott. So that cold air is rushing in. Here's our cold front. It's been racing south. KC is at 34, Des Moines at 20, North Platte at 13 degrees. Good news here is it's fairly short-lived. Still very windy. We have those northwesterly winds which have been kicking in now behind the front. We've been getting gusts 30, upwards of 40 miles per hour at times, and this is going to stick around as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. These strong northwesterly winds all the way into the morning hours, but check out by evening, they really start to calm down. They'll kind of switch back out of the south as we go into Thursday and start to pick up again, especially late in the day on Thursday. Also, wind chill factors way down there. When you get up in the morning, it's going to feel like about 5 in Iola, 9 Chautauqua, 9 in Anderson, Lamar, down to about 7 degrees. So you're definitely going to have to bundle up tomorrow. And with the winds kind of sticking around the next couple days, humidity levels are going to be down 15-20%. So there's still a little bit of a fire danger as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. All right, clearing out later on tonight, low to mid 20s, very cold start. We only get into the mid 30s by noon, and then I think most of us will top out right around 42, 43, 44 degrees during the afternoon. 26 in the morning, 36 by noon. High temp of 44 as we head into the afternoon, almost 40 degrees colder than what we saw today. 55 Thursday, a few showers in during the evening into the overnight hours, and then long gone near 80 again over the weekend. So it's
okay.
It's a ride.
It's crazy weather.
Yeah.
Big drop tonight. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, fire crews in Neosho, Missouri today battled a grass fire in Morse Park. The Neosho Fire Department got the call around 1:30 this afternoon. When they arrived, they found active flames rushing through the wildland brush, burning leaves and spreading quickly. Crews worked hotspots for hours as an estimated 30 acres burned. No homes or buildings were damaged. The cause of fire is unknown. Well, coming up, the only grocery store in Chautauqua, Kansas announces it is closing. How that will impact residents shopping for food. The town of Chautauqua, Kansas is losing its only grocery store. After more than 70 years, Chautauqua Foods and Deli is closing. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Been a long time coming, but all the employees here, we've already found other jobs. We are just waiting to know for sure when the store is closing.
Chautauqua Foods, this is Misty.
Chautauqua Foods and Deli in Kansas is set to close before the end of 2024. Kevin Vaughn, an employee for 3 years, says the owner of the grocery store has made a decision to shut down the business, but has not picked a date. He believes it's because the owner is busy with other duties.
He lives in New York, so he's here and there. He's a truck driver, so he's too busy actually, I think, to actually sit down and think it over right now. He's just going by what the store is doing today.
Once Chautauqua Food closes, residents will only have a couple of variety stores. The closest grocery store is in Oswego, 9 miles away, and the closest Walmart is in Coffeyville, 28 miles away.
If we leave, it will hurt the community. They'll have to travel to go to get their groceries and whatever else they need from a grocery store.
One Chautauqua resident, Jerry Dye, struggles with mobility after an accident. He's disheartened that the only grocery store in town is closing.
People are going to have to go farther now to get the same produce that they were getting from the store. Even if it's just 8 miles to G&W, it's, you know, a little bit of a hardship for some people that are on fixed incomes.
Dye believes this is another sign that Chautauqua is dying.
And that was part of the nail in the coffin there, was losing your one and only grocery store.
Reporting in Chautauqua, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
And we don't have contact information for the owner, but the employees we spoke with believe the store will close within the coming months. Well, the Federal Trade Commission is suing tax preparation company H&R Block over issues tied to its online free file option. The FTC alleges H&R Block makes it difficult for consumers to downgrade to less costly packages, and it misleads many into thinking they qualify for free filing. H&R Block issued a statement saying in part the company has been committed to making the process of filing taxes accessible and more transparent for all. Up next, when you'll be able to get your hands on that hot pink flip phone, just like Barbie had. Hey Barbie, a new flip phone is dropping this summer, and yes, it's hot pink. Human Mobile Devices, the company behind Nokia branded smartphones, is partnering with toy maker Mattel to bring Barbie's hot pink flip phone to life. HMD says flip phones are back on the rise as Gen Z and millennials choose to limit their screen time on smartphones. I've yet to see that. Information on pricing and where to buy the Barbie flip phone has not yet been released, but is set to debut this summer. Oh, wish it had internet. I would totally get it. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. What a new report shows about the number of pedestrian fatalities in 2023. Plus, President Biden meets with congressional leaders as a government shutdown deadline approaches.
Tonight. You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Jasper County authorities charge a man with child sex crimes. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office started investigating Rusty Little of Anderson on February 7th. During the investigation, they say they learned he performed sexual acts on a young girl. Deputies arrested Little yesterday in Joplin. He now faces charges of first-degree statutory sodomy and sexual misconduct involving a child. A federal judge today sentenced a Carthage man to prison for child pornography. 36-year-old James Beam pled guilty to 1 count of receiving and distributing child porn after sending an explicit video to an undercover FBI agent last September. Beam will serve 12 years in federal prison with 20 years of supervised release afterward. Well, after a record year for pedestrian fatalities in 2022, there was a modest decrease to start 2023. A report from the Governor's Highway Safety Association found drivers struck and killed more than 3,300 people between January and June of 2023. That's a 4% drop from the first 6 months of 2022. Now, stepping back to look at the past decade, pedestrian fatalities are up 58% since 2013.
And a car really doesn't have to be going that fast to pose a deadly threat to a pedestrian, meaning like 25 or 35 miles an hour. That could be a fatal crash for a pedestrian if the car is large enough. And with more larger cars on the road, we're probably seeing the outcome of that in our crashes.
The GHSA says local governments that implement Vision Zero plans help drive down pedestrian fatalities. Measures include narrowing intersections with bump outs, adding more bike lanes, and increasing enforcement of traffic laws. With military aid for U.S. allies like Ukraine still on hold and the government 4 days away from a shutdown, President Biden is demanding immediate action from Congress. As Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports, President Biden did not hold back today during his meeting with top Republican and Democrat lawmakers.
In what lawmakers are calling an intense meeting, President Biden sat down the top leaders in Washington to express the dire need to pass more emergency aid for Ukraine.
It was passionate. It was the consensus in that room. Zelensky and Ukraine will lose the war if we don't get the arms and don't get them quickly.
For months now, billions of dollars for Ukraine have been held up in Congress as Republicans, led by House Speaker Mike Johnson, demand changes at the U.S. border first.
We must take care of America's needs first. When you talk about America's needs, you have to talk first about our open border.
But helping allies abroad is not the only challenge facing lawmakers right now. Congress is merely days away from a partial government shutdown that would impact departments like Veterans Affairs, Housing, and Transportation.
Nobody wins from shutting down the government. It's just, I don't know how many times you have to be hit with a bat before you know it hurts.
It's the 4th time since September government funding has come down to the wire. Republicans want to slash spending, but once again, it's likely they'll be forced to pass what's known as a continuing resolution, which temporarily keeps funding at current rates.
They've just been kicking this can down the road, and my patience has run out. So leadership is to blame.
President Biden is also set to give a State of the Union address next week, crucial during an election year, but that could be up in the air if the government shuts down Friday. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
President Biden says a ceasefire that could free dozens of hostages from Gaza could be in place by next week and continue during the holy month of Ramadan in March. Negotiators from the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar are working on the deal that could deliver a 6-week halt in fighting and the release of more Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Palestinians in Gaza are facing starvation, with the United Nations saying the amount of aid reaching the territory dropped by 50% this month. Well, a bit later, with an increased fire risk over the next few days, we'll have tips on making an escape plan for your home.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a very warm day for us today. Broke a record by 7 degrees. So we blew that one out of the water, and now we are heading in the other direction. Very windy, turning much colder outside. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam. Of course, downtown Joplin looking toward the northeast. We had some scattered thunderstorms earlier this evening that kind of fired up right along the front, pushed off toward the east, and then now we're dealing with some additional moisture kind of picking up in our northern counties, but that's not rain. Look at this. If we switch modes, this is all in the purple freezing rain, then a little band of snow, some snow squalls kind of pushing off toward the north and to the east. So we are going to get some minor impacts. Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, maybe Fort Scott, Nevada with some light snow that could make a little light glaze on the roadways. Besides that, all this is going to stay mainly north of everybody else. So I don't think if you get much farther south than Girard or Lamar, you're really not going to have any issues with any freezing rain or snow. Severe weather ongoing up toward the Great Lakes and then now picking up in Illinois and Indiana. You can see the band of snow behind it, much colder air pushing in. It's down to 47 in Joplin, 53 at Grand Lake, 37 in Fort Scott, Stockton sitting at 46 degrees. So think about this. From our high temp today, we've already dropped about 40 degrees, some areas 50, and we're going to continue that slide. Here's that powerful front that is diving off toward the south and to the east. Strong northerly winds behind it, and as you know, when it's windy and it's cold, it makes it feel colder than what it actually is. Winds are going to be gusting 20 to 30 all night long, meaning our wind chill factor is going to drop 5, 6, 7 degrees by the time you get up tomorrow morning. So you're going to have to bundle up. All right, light snow showers, mainly northern counties. Next few hours, then we clear out. Cold start. We get into the mid to upper 30s by noon. We should get into the lower 40s for highs, which is actually below normal for this time of the year. Tomorrow night, upper 20s once again. Some clouds will start to increase once we get into Thursday afternoon, looking a little bit better. We get into the mid 50s. A few random sprinkles try to shoot up toward us as we get into Thursday evening, Thursday night, and then gone by the time we head into Friday morning. All right, 26 at 7, sunny skies, high temp of 44. But check this out. As fast as we go down, we go back up. Look at this, mid 70s by the time Saturday rolls around. 44 tomorrow, 55 on Thursday, 63 on Friday, 77 Saturday, 78 by the time we head into Sunday. For you and I who haven't been outside in a while, it's going to be a little bit of a shock getting outside tonight.
I'm just glad that I brought my jacket inside with me today. I didn't need it, but I knew I would need it tonight because I paid attention to you last night.
I wore shorts and a t-shirt to work.
And you are the one that makes the forecast. All right, well, coming up in sports, Missouri Southern softball plays a doubleheader for its home opener. Plus, Pittsburgh boys basketball begins its playoff run tonight. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
It's a beautiful day for softball in the 4 states, and after playing its first 15 games of the 2024 season on the road, Missouri Southern has its home opener this afternoon, a doubleheader against Delta State. And the Lady Lions get the afternoon started the right way. They shut out the Lady Statesmen 5-0 in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Kiki Pickens has a great start. She goes the entire contest without allowing a run, strikes out 4 and allows just 3 hits, and the Lions win their first home game of the year. On to Game 2, windy day in Joplin. Bottom of the first inning is where we pick it up. Taylor Knuckles skies a ball over the center fielder's head. That's going to drop, and she's going to motor around to third. As she slides in safely, the throw goes out of play, so she gets to go home. Now to the second inning, still 1-0 until Hannah Dunn smashes this pitch to deep center. That's gone for a 3-run homer. Lions far from done. Still in the bottom of the second, Knuckles again up the middle and through for a base hit. 2 more Lions come in to score, and it's 6-0. Same inning, different pitcher, same result though. Abby DeSanto rips a double into left center with the bases loaded. All 3 runners come around to score. 15 Lions batters come to the plate that inning. 10 runs scored. Southern wins 11-0 and sweeps the doubleheader. Busy night for high school basketball across the 4 states. We start with Pittsburgh boys hoops, who begins their playoff journey tonight at home. Pittsburgh boys basketball on its home floor for a sub-state semifinal against Spring Hill. Winner advances to Friday night. First 3 points of the game belong to the Purple Dragons, courtesy of a Jaden Brown 3. Next time down the floor, Brown open in the corner again. It's money again. Pittsburgh quickly up 6-0. A little later in the first, Brown gets the rejection. Then the Purple Dragons off to the races. Mason English finishes the fast break with a layup. Later in the second quarter now, Aiden Gazaway heats up. He hits the 3, nothing but net. Next possession, open again, and Gazaway drills it again. That's part of 3 consecutive made 3-pointers from him. Now right before the half, long outlet pass from English up ahead. Gazaway rises up and slams with 2 hands. Purple Dragons sprint past Spring Hill 71-58. They'll play at DeSoto in the Sub-State Championship Friday. Now at halftime of tonight's Pittsburgh boys basketball playoff game, Purple Dragon offensive lineman Aiden Davis receives an official invite to the 2024 Shrine Bowl. He's the 59th Purple Dragon to be selected to the Kansas High School East vs. West All-Star Game, which is 3rd most of any schools in Kansas. The game's on June 29th in Emporia. Here are a few more scores of playoff basketball games in the area. Chinook girls hoops, massive upset of 5th-seeded Wamego. Labette County girls win at home over Holton. That sets up a sub-state championship between the 2 of them on Friday. And then the same 4A sub-state tournament, top-seeded Fort Scott takes care of business, 46-13 over Paola. Lady Tigers host Independence for a sub-state championship on Friday as well. And in Southwest Missouri, College Heights boys basketball wins again. The Cougars beat Blue Eye 61-51. They move on to the Class 2 quarterfinals against Hartville on Saturday. That's a look at sports. Back with more news after this.
High winds can mean high fire danger, and if your house catches on fire, an escape plan is essential. Chris Bryant got some advice from the professionals on what to include in that plan.
Having a plan in place for your family is a great way to ensure you and your kids know what to do in the event of a fire. From having an escape route, a meeting place, even knowing where the fire extinguishers are in your house and that they are in working order.
That our children look to the adults in the home for their guidance, and not only just making sure they understand it, but if you're comfortable and you're confident in what's going to happen, then they're going to be comfortable and confident with what's going to occur. So you doing planning ahead of time and including them in the process, one, gives them a little bit of an insight into what could occur, and then 2, they see it as a comfort.
Chief Scott Moore with the Battlefield Fire Protection District says it's important for kids to be able to know the plan and how to safely exit your home no matter where the fire may be in your house.
Knowing more than one way out of your bedroom, knowing more than one way out of your home too. Fire's on this side and you normally go out that way, but can you go out a back door? Is there another exit? All those rules still apply.
Once you have a plan, practice it so everyone learns to get out quickly.
The things that are different today that were different for myself 40 years ago or for any of us is fire still behaves similarly. The contents that we are seeing on fire are much different, so it goes faster.
Decide on a safe meeting place outside of the home.
The one thing that I always caution folks is, the meeting place needs to be somewhere visible to people, not in the road. Some folks, we'll meet at the mailbox where kids will tend to, and people will tend to wander away from, and you can be in the street. If it's dark, just need to be able to meet away from the home that's a safe place.
If you do not have a smoke detector, you can contact your local fire department or protection district for assistance. Well, get ready to return to Arrakis. Coming up, we'll hear from the cast of Dune Part 2 ahead of its release. The epic sci-fi story of Dune Part 2 is in theaters Friday. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin caught up with the stars of the film to talk about returning to this world, the new story, the large-scale production, and sandworms.
It's breathtaking.
Audiences re-immerse back in the world of Dune as soon as Part 2 begins. The stars shared moments which put them right back in the Dune mindset, and for several, it was that still suit.
The first thing you usually do is fittings, and
that for sure, I was like, oh, we're back. We're back. This still suit.
We're
back. Each department is just really so brilliant at what they do. And the things that they've thought of before you even got there, you can tell that there's already a life to the character that's existing, and then you have to just inhabit it.
I think being with that group again, period. Oh, it was the sand and being in the sand and walking in the sand.
Part 2 is a tale of love, revenge, and the fate of the universe, told through another epic production.
Everything was so practical, so there. And sometimes not super pleasant, with sand flying in your mouth as you're screaming. But it does allow you to get sucked into the moment.
There's also plenty of large-scale action and sandworms. Tell me about the new skills at the sandworm riding school, or new action skills that you can now add to the resume.
Sandworm riding instructor.
Yeah.
Put on my resume.
You get your credit. Yes.
Yeah, it's there was the worm unit. We have incredible, stunt team that has already kind of found the best way and the coolest way possible to look on these things. So you're just trying to emulate, but it does look so cool. It looks really what they're able to do with all the other elements that makes it really come alive.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Pretty good. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of an armadillo playing with a ball at the San Antonio Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.